This story will hit close to home for many of us. A man named David White came to Winchester on a business trip. He stayed with friends in the big house they owned outside the city. That night they had a good time visiting, but when David went to bed, he tossed and turned and couldn't sleep. Sometime during the night, he heard a car turn into the driveway. He got up and went to the window to see who was arriving at such a late hour. In the moonlight, he saw a long black hearse filled with people. The driver of the hearse looked up at him. When David saw his queer, hideous face, he shuddered. The driver called to him, "Room for one more." Then he waited for a minute or two and finally drove off. In the morning, David told his friends what had happened. "You were dreaming," they said. "I must have been, but it didn't seem like a dream." After breakfast, he left and went into Winchester. Spent the day high above the city in the McEldowney building. Late in the afternoon, he was waiting for an elevator to take him back down to the street. But when it arrived, it was very crowded. One of the passengers looked out and called to him. "There's room for one more," they said. It was the driver of the hearse. "No thanks," said David, as he backed away. Fear gathered in his throat. "I'll get the next one." The doors closed and the elevator started down. Then suddenly the shrieking and screaming. Then the sound of a crash. The elevator had fallen to the bottom of the shaft, killing everyone on board. And that was Room for One More, collected by Alvin Schwartz.
The only way to make that story scarier is if David was a redhead.